Hey, Chris here at HiFi Buys in Atlanta, and today we're going to tour the Beatles Room. Definitely the best sounding room in our store, and we think probably one of the best sounding systems in the whole Southeast, at least that you can come and listen to. Let's go on in. These are definitely some of the best speakers in the world, but we're going to start out where the music starts, at the source. In this system, we've got a Brinkmann balanced turntable with an upgraded power supply, and we've mounted a DS Audio optical phono cartridge onto it. The Brinkmann Balance is their top of the line turntable. It is a massive 40+ pound solid aluminum platter. When it gets spinning to the right speed, it does not move at all. It is really absolutely one of the finest turntables on the planet, and the upgraded power supply for it just brings that to another level. So this is the power supply that comes in the box with the turntable. This is the upgraded vacuum tube power supply that is turning the motor. This little guy is actually relegated to just heating the bearing oil to the correct temperature so that the turntable spins at the perfect speed to play your records. So in talking about DS Audio and their phono cartridge technology, there's a whole video that goes in depth into this technology, so I'm just gonna hit some highlights, but definitely check out that video and it's linked in the description below. We have the DS Audio Grandmaster cartridge with their Grandmaster phono preamp in this system. Just one step down in cartridge from the absolute top of their line is a fully diamond cantilever that on the end of it is mounted a beryllium shade that casts a shadow from an LED that's mounted inside the cartridge to a photoreceptive cell at the back. And that's how the vibration from the record is converted into an electrical signal. So the advantages of that are numerous. Again, other video. Big ones are more gain and lower mass. So more detail and less gain needed in the phono preamp. That's also going to amplify the noise coming off of those records, resulting in an incredibly dark and quiet background, meaning more detail comes out of your records than ever before. So this whole analog setup is actually taking up 4 shelves in our rack. You can see we've got the turntable power supplies, the turntable itself, then the phono preamp, and then actually the phono preamp's power supply. This entire setup is just over $90,000 just for the analog source. And a huge part of the sound we get out of the system that I don't want to skip over at all is the HRS SXR signature rack that all of these components are sitting on. It is incredibly sturdy, and each of these isolation bases is tuned specifically for the weight of the product that is on them, and especially in vinyl playback, minimizing those external vibrations getting into the turntable makes a massive difference, again, in lowering that noise floor and getting more detail and lifelike sound out of your records. But as we go through this, you'll see it's not just the turntable that's isolated. It actually benefits every component in your system when done properly, and using HRS's system of feet and isolation bases and incredibly sturdy racks really makes an outstanding difference in the overall noise floor being lower, and again, just more detail that makes you feel like you're live in the studio. So all of that analog equipment for the turntable ends up getting plugged into this preamp, which is from CH Precision, and our digital source in this system is also from CH Precision and is right below it. There's a whole video diving into what makes CH Precision special and why we love them so much. Link is in the description as well if you want some more information there. But in general, CH Precision is building software-controlled electronics, preamps, DACs, and amplifiers. That software control makes sure that your components are always operating at the peak performance. So as components degrade or change over time, the bias and settings for those individual components can be adjusted automatically by the software and the components. You'll notice that they look almost identical, and that's by design. The chassis for all of their components are basically the same, and the pieces that make this a preamp and this a DAC and streamer are all card-based modular systems that are installed based on what the needs of the system are and what you've ordered. And that makes these products really future-proof. As new things come out, we can come out to your house and just swap the cards out. So while it is certainly a luxury product that costs luxury prices, also you get the benefits of luxury service where we can come out to your house and service or replace or upgrade components within your system, and those pieces never have to actually leave, and you never have a system that you can't listen to. As you may have noticed, several of the pieces in this system have an external power supply. We've done the same thing here with CH Precision. It's actually an optional upgrade for any of their components. So we have the X1 power supply connected to the L1 preamp. The benefit of an external power supply is really to get all of the noisy power circuitry as far away and isolated from the delicate audio signals as possible. And so that's why you see at these performance levels, separate boxes even for all of these power supplies. Altogether, this 3-box CH Precision stack, as currently configured in our system, sells for $97,000. And last but certainly not least, in this rack is the Audioquest Niagara 7000 power conditioner that is supplying clean power to every component in this rack and is kind of the starting point for this whole system, to be honest. To go along with that, we've got Audioquest Mythical Creatures interconnects all behind the rack, connecting every single component together all the way up to this preamp. And then from here, we follow these long interconnects along the wall, and that'll bring us right over to our amplifier and speakers. So let's head over there. So our interconnects from that big rack move all the way around the room to this beautiful amplifier from, as you'll notice, CH Precision. Another massive upgrade in this room from what was previously here. This is the M1.1. It sells for $57,000. Like all CH Precision components, this amplifier is modular and configurable to match your system and to grow with it. So down the road, if we wanted to add another and use them as monoblocks, it's very, very easy to do. We could even use 2 amplifiers to vertically bi-amp and provide 0 feedback amplification on the tweeters and mid-range for crystal clear imaging, while having a lot of feedback on the bass drivers for tight, punchy bass to get just the best sound possible. Really is an incredible system that they've built. Using the same software control that is in the other CH Precision devices that we saw, this amplifier is constantly monitoring the temperature of the output devices thousands of times a second and adjusting the bias so that it always sounds as good as it possibly can, whether you just turned it on from cold or it's been on for hours. And as you can see, we even have the amplifier on its own HRS SXR signature stand for its optimal performance. And with that, I think we're finally ready to check out these incredible speakers. Definitely the most exciting piece of really any stereo, and certainly in this system, is the speakers. And in this system, we've got the absolutely incredible Orion from Rockport Technologies. These speakers sell for $148,000, or as we have them configured, a little bit north of $150,000, and you get a whole lot for that money. Starting with the custom design and custom made drivers. An ideal driver obviously weighs nothing, and they've come as close as you possibly can in this case, using 2 layers of carbon fiber sandwiched around a layer of Roacell to create something that is incredibly lightweight while remaining almost indestructibly stiff. And that creates a truly pistonic motion well outside the operating bands of the frequency range of this driver. So you're just getting the cleanest, clearest representation of the source music possible. All of these drivers are manufactured in-house at Rockport, and when it comes to their tweeter, in this particular speaker, it's a larger tweeter than you see in most speakers, and they've gone with a beryllium dome tweeter after trying many materials and finding that beryllium was the right mixture of stiffness and lightness to cover the entire frequency range that tweeter is responsible for. So these 3 drivers together combine to produce absolutely magical sound, but that's really only half the battle if they're not mounted to an incredibly inert cabinet. And that's really where Rockport Technologies stands above everybody else as far as I'm concerned. In the Orion, they are a 2-piece cabinet with, we've actually got a 3D printed model of it, a 1-piece solid aluminum cabinet internally, which is then surrounded by a shell, and in between that shell and cabinet is filled with a viscoelastic material that provides damping as well as providing an incredible amount of mass, making these absolutely the deadest cabinets that I've ever experienced in my life. All of the technology and research that went into these cabinets is really what allows these special drivers to do what they do and to sing and to produce music with no distortion and no coloration so that you're there live with your favorite artists. The last piece of the puzzle is certainly the room treatments, and in here we've got some really incredible in-wall diffusers that help to create a massive soundstage. But at the end of the day, it's the components and the speakers that come together to make the music sound real and like you're in the studio, and it's something that you just have to experience for yourself. So come on down to HiFi Buys whenever you're in Atlanta. Come spend some time in our Beatles room and give this incredible system a listen. We're sure that you'll love it, and thanks for watching.